All right. Welcome to the 2015 CSA Online Training Conference. Thank you for registering and for taking the time to join us today. This conference and training session was put together by the Construction Software Alliance, which is an alliance of the top third-party solutions for Sage 300 Construction and Real Estate, Sage 100 Contractor, and Sage Estimating. For more information about the companies that make up the Construction Software Alliance, which include Antera, Core Associates, Event One Software, hh² Cloud Services, OnCenter Software, and Piracle, please visit us online at www.constructionsa.com. The sponsors for these training sessions are Tug, Action, Constructive Advisor, Digitech, Ledgerwood Associates, and TAG. This session is entitled Field Reports, Daily Logging for Project Management, and will be taught by Kevin Hadley from hh² Cloud Services. So we'll turn the time over to Kevin.
All right, thank you, Devin. Appreciate that introduction, and appreciate the Construction Software Alliance giving us this opportunity to showcase some of our products and services that we offer here at hh². And I appreciate each one of you who have been today for taking the time out of your busy schedules. Some of you may have joined me previously for some other online demonstrations of our remote payroll and our Field Reports product, our Field product, and if you're a glutton for punishment, join me now for the Field Reports. So we appreciate you joining us for this one as well. Some of the introduction and that will be very similar to what I've shown you previously, and because some are just joining us for this demonstration, I'm still going to go over the housekeeping tips that I do at all my demonstrations. So if you're new to GoToWebinar or haven't used that before, just a couple of things I want you to do. I want to make sure that you can see my screen okay. And in your GoToWebinar panel, there is a button in which you can raise your hand and let me know if you can see my screen. It should say hh² Cloud Services and the Field Reports along here. If you would do that, that's great. I can see a couple of people have raised their hands. Fantastic. Maybe I'll do that through my demonstration just to make sure you guys are listening and paying attention. But anyway, I appreciate you raising your hands there. A couple of other things real quick about GoToWebinar. Up in the upper right-hand corner, upper left-hand corner of your GoToWebinar panel, there is an orange box with a white arrow in it. At least there is for mine. When you click on that arrow, it'll actually put the panel off to the side and kind of give you a little thumbnail of that panel. So if you need to bring it back to ask a question or something, please feel free to do so. But by reducing that or clicking the arrow, it kind of removes that so you can see my entire screen and see what I'm going to be presenting today. If I do happen to, notice that people are dozing off, we may have to send a shock or something to your seat and make sure you're paying attention today. Because I know it's the afternoon, some of you probably just had a sandwich or something, and so bear with me. I'm hoping today will as a third-party developer for Sage. And our company itself was born out of a general contractor with about 250 employees. And over the years, we became a standalone company with over 700 subscriptions, all Sage 300 and 100 clients using hh² Cloud Services because our products were made specifically for Sage 300 CRE and Sage 100 Contractor. So again, that makes us one of the top third-party developers within the Sage community. And really what it means to be a third-party developer with Sage is the fact that we've got to stay up to date with the latest and greatest versions that Sage introduces out there for you. And so we get an advanced copy from Sage so that we can make sure anything that they've added to their updates or releases hasn't broken anything in our system. Not only do we support the most current version, we also support older versions of Sage as well. But we would encourage you to kind of stay up to date with some of the functionality that's available in Sage as well. But again, today we're really going to talk about the hh² field reports that we have. I'll talk to you briefly in a minute about the other products and services that we have, but our field reports product synchronizes with Timberline's project management. But let me kind of just state this up front. You do not have to have Sage project management to use hh² field reports, okay? It can be a standalone solution for both Sage 300 and 100. It's only if you want that data to sync back with Sage. Now, this next slide that I'm showing you here today talks about our synchronization with your accounting system. Okay, so with hh², all of our new customers that we sign up, we install what's called a synchronization tool. Everything is hosted on our servers, so you don't need any dedicated server space or anything else to hh² or a new, its own special server or anything. We just simply install that synchronization client on the same server that your accounting system resides on, so that we can stay up to date, not only pull in all of the information, but to stay up to date with things like jobs, employees, customers, contacts, your address book, subcontractors, employees, pay types, and also your cost codes and your jobs, etc. You can tell it's been a long day for me too. But anyway, we stay up to date with that, with continuous synchronization. It syncs every hour and stays up to date. So if you added a new job, new employee, etc. into Sage, our system's going to automatically pull that in on an hourly basis. Either wait for the hourly sync or manually. Now what that means is your data, that information that I just suggested or mentioned that would be syncing over, resides on our servers or the cloud. And just so you're aware, we don't have some small little server off in the corner of our company collecting dust and just running. Have it in a full service data center, about 20 minutes from our offices here, and that allows us to, have that solution in a very secure center with redundant hookups to the power company, internet providers, biometric security, everything that you would really come to expect from a full service data center. So you know that your data is safe and secure within hh². Again, we're doing redundant backups of snapshots of the database on a continual basis. Now, what that will allow your employees in the fields to do, as by the graphic here, it's synchronizing that data and allowing your guys in the field to have access to data that's in Sage without being in your accounting system. Okay, that's what you want. So that will allow your employees, as you see through the demonstration today, to be able to, find the jobs, do a field report for that job or a daily log, etc., and have that data automatically sync back into Sage Project Management. Again, you don't have to have project management to use hh². If you do, and you want our daily field report to push into Sage's daily field report, you can do that. It's up to you. All right? So that's a little bit about that graphic there, the synchronization with Sage. Let me just kind of explain a little bit more. hh² field reports are simply recording all of your vital daily field information through the use of an app, a native app for the iPad and the iPhone, as well as an iOS, or excuse me, as well as from any browser on any device. And so I just want to give this little caveat out there. hh², our native apps were initially built for iOS devices, and originally for the iPad on the field reports. However, we just came out with a field reports for the iPhone, and we have an Android developer also looking and working on development of all of our apps on the Android platform as well that will be coming out throughout the year. But again, any device, if your guys are out there currently not using an iOS device, a laptop, desktop, other type of tablet, you can still use hh² field reports by simply going to the web browser on those devices. Okay, the one nice thing about a native app, it allows you to collect that information offline. And that's big because some of your job sites aren't always in the metropolitan city area, right? They may be out in some field where you just don't have a lot of cell coverage, etc. So those daily logs can be done offline with the native app. With that, as I mentioned earlier, hh² Cloud Services has a number of different products and services that we offer. We offer a remote payroll module that I demonstrated earlier this morning for time and attendance capturing. Our field reports, that's the one we're going to go over this afternoon. Field service product that I went over previously, that's for companies who use service management and want to dispatch those work orders out to the technician in the field and have that data sync back to their service management system. And I'm doing one final demonstration today, just after this one, of our hh² Human Resources module that allows you to keep additional information and employee records, additional information that you're not able to at the present time in your accounting system. All right, so that's a little bit about hh², some of the products that we offer. As Devin mentioned, my name is Kevin Hadley. I'm the Vice President of Sales. I'll try to bring this up at the very end. So if you need to ask me a question or want to schedule an online demonstration for your company specifically, I do that day in, day out, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and would love to hear from you and do what we call kind of a one-off demonstration so you guys can ask more questions that you may feel a little bit bashful asking in front of a bunch of people today. Now, everybody is muted. And if you do have questions throughout the presentation, there is a questions box in your GoToWebinar panel, and there's the chat window. Please feel free to use either one. Devin is monitoring the questions, and I will also keep an eye on the GoToMeeting questions that come up. So if something comes up that you feel like you need immediate attention to, it might be the same question that somebody else was a little afraid to ask or a little bit intimidated to do so. But again, thank you very much for joining me. All right, with hh², there's a couple things I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to show you the website first, and then I'm going to pull up my iPad, and we'll show you the differences in the look and feel of using both solutions. So again, where I'm at right now, you should see my, I've just got a Google Chrome web browser up here, and I'm going to log in as a superintendent today. All right, so I log in and I want to see some reports. Now, I could very well also be a project manager or an officer in the company that wants to make sure that my guys are doing their reports on a daily basis. So what I'm going to do when I log in, I'm going to click on the field reports over here, and I'm going to go to my calendar of logs, because my guys keep telling me that they're doing logs on a daily basis, but I'm not quite sure that they've been doing them, because right now they may be doing them on paper, right, or some Excel document or Word document on their computer, but you don't have access to that. Well, with hh², you know immediately when someone has created a daily log. So this is what I'm seeing currently for this week. I can see the jobs off to the side here and certain types of reports that have been written on each job, which ones have been finalized and which ones have not. Now, if I go back a week, you'll see that, my guys did a little bit better doing some of those. Not only can I see that, again, I'll show you how to create a report here in a second, but I think this is vital. Again, this information is meant to be consumed by people in the office. That's what daily logs are for. Too often they're just simply found in a logbook, in a job trailer, and no one sees them until an emergency happens, or they need to go back and look at some history. Well, with hh², you can stay on top of your jobs on a daily basis. So let's go back to Friday. Let's look at this finalized report by Grant Farnsworth. I can see the day and the time that was finalized by Grant, my supervisor. And if I wanted to go through one by one, I could look at each of the tabs that hh² supports, such as weather, any payroll information, or labor entries that may have been, people on my job site, subs. Well, that might be a little bit tedious, all right? And I might not want to go through each individual tab on here. I may want to just say, you know what, I want to export this whole log to a PDF so I can view it. And it just went through and is just finishing this report for me. And so instead of viewing it, again, each tab one by one, it opens up a new tab for me, and I can see the log details. I can see when who filled out this report. Okay, I can see the day and the time it was filled out, and you can see here, I can see that Grant Farnsworth is the one who did this. So he collected a couple of weather entries. We are showing the employees or the labor that was on the site, the subcontractors and what they did for that day, the equipment. So I can see a lot of the detail here. And I can also see the photos. That's another nice thing about the system, is that if I've walked around the job site and I had taken a bunch of before and after photos to kind of show our productivity throughout the day, again, a project manager or someone can come in here and look at that. Or if we had a problem on the site that a project manager really needed to take a quick, immediate look at, they can do right here. They can do that right here in the system. So that's just showing you what a copy of the PDF looks like. We never delete your data, so your data is always stored. The other nice thing is I can come into here and I can say, hey, I want to search my daily logs for a specific report. So again, instead of having to go through a job trailer, look through logbooks, travel out there, I can just do a search real quick on any specific key items that I would like to, just by clicking on here and writing a keyword search. Okay, this shows me a lot of my daily logs there. So just showing you some of that functionality on the calendaring, because it's very nice and elegant on the website. Now, let's talk a little bit about creating a report. So if I'm, again, using the web browser to create this report, I'm on, this is the current week. Let's go do a new report for the large high school today. And let's, in doing this report, let's just call it a general report for right now. I'm going to show you how to do another one on the iPad, but let's create one real quick just to show you what we support in hh². And a lot of these tabs could be turned off. So because I know my audience today is Sage 300 CRE or Sage 100 Contractor companies, and especially those who may be using Sage's project management solution, let me tell you why we show the tabs that we show and some of the things that we show in the tabs. This product, we had a daily logs product previously with hh² that we had built. Sage, as they were upgrading or updating project management a number of years ago, added the ability or a section called field reports. All right, they knew what we were doing with our daily logs, and so they asked us if we would like to incorporate or integrate our daily log into their field reports. We, of course, said yes. We'd be happy to do that. That's why in hh², I'll let you know the tabs that do synchronize with Sage's product. That is, first of all, there's weather, there's labor. The payroll actually comes from our payroll module. I'll talk about that in a bit. Subcontractors on the site, equipment, materials, activities, events. Meetings tab is a tab that's unique to our system. There is no meetings tab in Sage. And I'll talk, and we'll deal a little bit more with that later. Visitors tab is one that's supported in project management. Journal entries, and those are the items that will synchronize if they are filled out in hh². Once I finalize this report, the information in those tabs that I just specified will synchronize back to your project management system. I would say with the number of clients that we have, I would say less than probably 20% of our clients have them sync back to Timberline Project Management, because one, it's so much easier just to log into hh². Our product is fast, it's responsive, and very easy to consume the data. All right, but if you feel like you need it in project management, that's fine. One area why people might want that in there is because of the activities tab, in which you can update your unit production. Okay, so if I'm doing this, I'm going to just show a couple of them on the website, okay, just to give you a look and feel of what the website looks like. Oh, in addition, so let me cover a couple more things real quick. Not only do we have these tabs available, but you see this other tab, this hazmat disposal and the crane safety tab. Okay, those are unique tabs to hh². Because in our field reports product, even some of you who have joined us today are our current clients, and because we've just came out with a new version of field reports, may be unaware that we have the ability to create custom tabs. So whenever I do demonstrations, some companies say, well, why don't you handle something a certain way on the subcontractors or the equipment? We would really like to track this and another item another way. Well, that's the beauty about hh². Now with our custom tabs, you can create any custom tab that you would like, and I'll deal a little bit more with that later. Those custom tabs, however, again, do not go back into project management because there's nowhere to go. All right, so let's look at the weather, please. I hope nobody's dozing off on me today. So let's hit the weather. If this job site that I am on has an address in the address book, like they should, it's going to pull up when I click on this button here. It's going to update from weather.com, letting me know that from 1:15 to 2:15, it's 57 degrees. It's fair. It doesn't list the sky and the ground conditions because weather.com doesn't know the ground conditions. But it will give me the weather or the temperatures, and it'll give me the wind and the humidity information. Okay, if I wanted to do one on my own instead of going through weather.com, I can come in here and add my own weather entry if weather.com is simply up in the night and create a condition. Maybe we've got heavy snow coming in, etc. Okay, so just know that you have the ability to create and specify your own. Now, payroll, since I've already done my payroll for the day in the earlier demonstration that I did, my payroll, or the people on my job site, automatically came across. Amanda Banks lists the cost code she worked on and the total number of units. Okay, so it helps me, automatically fills that in, so I really don't need to do much more. However, if I'm not using the payroll thing, I can also add labor or copy labor over from a previous report. I don't have any labor, so if I wanted to add one on the fly, I can select an employee. Maybe it's Justine. Justine came in and worked for us for 8 hours today. I can also write notes. So I can quickly add employees one at a time if I needed to this report in the labor entries. My subcontractors, a lot of times my subs are the same subs that were working on my job site the previous day or the previous week. I can even download those by clicking here and saying, hey, pull over the electric company and the tile and carpet company because they were with me yesterday. However, maybe the electric company didn't send 4 people today. Maybe they just sent two employees for a total of, maybe 16, man hours, and I can even use it down here. So we'll just use that. Okay. So 16 man hours. Again, if I wanted to write notes on, this is what we did, I can specify that as well. Okay, so I can just update those, or I can add someone. So the question I often get here is, where are those pulling from? They're pulling from your contact lists and your customer records within Sage, from your address book. So if you needed to search for a specific company, again, if it's an electric or drywall, company that came in here, maybe it's Ace Drywall. They sent in 3 guys today. Spent a total of 24 man hours. I'll just put built walls. So again, just showing you some of those things. So I can add those in there. Equipment I won't add. If I have pieces of equipment, bulldozer, cat, trucks, whatever, scrapers, I can add those to my job site. Materials, again, I won't do that one on the website. I'll show you more on the iPad just because of the amount of time we have today. Activities, that's a big one, so let's talk about that one a little bit more. Actually, let's go back to materials for just a second and address something. Materials that I'm creating in Sage Project Management, the reason we show the tabs that we do, oftentimes I get the question, hey Kevin, what about, that's great that you guys support things that have arrived on site. What about documenting materials that I have used on site? Well, Sage doesn't allow you. That's not part of the materials tabs. It's just for what was received on the side. So I could do that. If I were to do if I wanted to capture that information about what was used, what I would do in hh², I would create another custom tab over here called materials used, or whatever you would like. And then you can, I can kind of show you how to build that. So anyway, on the activities tab, back to that one for just a minute. In the activities tab, if you're a company that keeps track of your unit production and you want the unit production information to go back and hit your job cost and update your miscellaneous worksheets, this is the tab that you will do that. And for those companies that do sync back to Sage Project Management, this is the main reason why, is in the Activities tab. So I can select a cost code. All right, maybe I have some concrete that I did today. So I can choose the code, I can select a category, I can do a description. It's currently at 61%, my concrete paving. It's showing me that right here. If after today I'm at 75%, and I produced another 250 units or cubic yards or whatever the fact, whatever your measurement is, you can do that. And if there was a subcontractor involved, I could select the company and I could put the notes. But I'm just going to create that entry. Again, those units, once this field report is finalized, that is the trigger to go back into your project management solution. Okay? So again, hopefully that's very beneficial. I hope everybody's still staying with me here. All right. Some of the other things that we can do, again, capturing events, meetings, visitors, journal entries. I'm going to do the rest of, not this report, I'm going to actually create a new report from my iPad. But before I do, let's go to the hazmat disposal for a minute. Like I said, these are two custom tabs that were made. I'm going to go to the plus button. Now, the reason I show this one is because to show you all of the different types of fields that you can add to a custom tab. You can add just a typical drop-down list, in our system. You can specify, hey, material type, and you specify the different types of materials that you want your guys to choose from. You can have more of a longer text box in a work description, so people can type, a lengthy description of what took place on this entry. All right, just one second before I go along. Okay, so the question was, for Sage 100 Contractor, the field reports into a unit tab for companies tracking units. Okay, so one thing just to quickly note, that in hh², our field reports, they do not sync back currently to Timberline or to Sage 100 Contractor. Okay, that is something that we can definitely take a look at. But for right now, hh² field reports only syncs back to Sage 300 Project Management. Doesn't mean, again, that your 700 customers can't use this just to have, and keep the information on site. But I appreciate that question. Again, down in here, you can estimate costs, so you can put dollar values in here. You can do hours that are spent. You can also select times, so you can have a drop-down selector for times. Your labor costs, you can do check boxes, so if you wanted to create a list of checks and balances that you want your guys to check off on. One of the things that we're doing at the present time is looking at ways in which we can use this more for a punch list, okay, that you may have created at the beginning of a job. And that may be one more area that you can take a look at. Okay, so again, different things that you can do here. Recommendations. Again, this is just a custom report that we did here just as an example to show you some of those entries. All right, so that just, if I went back to my calendar, you'll see, now on today's date on the large high school, I've got an unfinalized report. I did not finalize it. Now, this is what I like. I really like our application that we have for the iPad. So let me pull up my iPad app. Again, the nice thing about using this is I can be doing this work offline. So you should see my Air server or my iPad start to appear. These are the various apps that we have available from hh². Again, the nice thing about having a native app, I can do it offline. I'm going to click on the Field Reports app, and it opens up And there's a lot of different things that I could show you here, but I'm about halfway through my presentation and want to make sure I've got some time in here to answer any questions that you have. I've got my job selector up top that allows me to see the jobs. Now, we've even added just recently the ability to limit what jobs people have access to and can code to, and then various report types. Report types are specified to you as a company. In our examples, we have one called delay, one's general, project manager, etc. Typically, we have a lot of people just doing superintendent reports. So let's stay on the superintendent report. What it shows me on my iPad, any other superintendent reports that have been filled out for the month. So I can see what days and how many entries, if you can see that. It's fairly light. We didn't want it to be too intrusive. We wanted to make sure that people would be able to see, one, when a report was created, and two, if it was finalized. And the checkbox that you see here, it just specifies that that report has been finalized by you as a manager. So let's go into today's date and let's create a quick report, just doing a superintendent report. Kind of like I did on the website, but as you can see, our tabs are along the bottom and not the top. And again, these are all configurable. You can turn any tab on or off that you want to see. Okay, please do not think you've got to go and scroll through every single one of these tabs if your company simply wants to fill out 3 tabs. Okay, that's all that you would see. Let's do the weather. Let's click on plus, update from weather.com, save the entry. That's how fast I can grab my weather. Okay, very, very simple. My labor. Let's pull my labor over from the previous day. I'm going to hit the copy button. Yes, I want to copy people over from the previous day. So I have Amanda, Blake, and Pete. And if I wanted to add a new employee for my labor that day, I can select on my employee list. I can either scroll down or put a number. Maybe Tim joined me today. He was here for 8 hours. I'll just put test in there just to be quick and save that entry. Very, very simple. Able to add my employees there. Now, again, this one also pulls from my remote payroll. So again, I did payroll today, so it's showing me the employees that were on the site. So you can turn either one of those tabs on or off. Subcontractors, the same thing that I showed you on the website. I copied those from this button right up here. I know you can't see my finger touching anything on the iPad, but this is what I'm doing. I'm going to hit yes, and I can see that information, so that brought over all my subs. This is what happened. Maybe I want to put a little bit more detail on Ace Drywall. I can pick that up, I'll just put in here tape walls. We'll save that. That's what they did that day. Now, let's say the one company didn't show up today, the marble company. The tile was all done. I can simply swipe to the left and delete my subcontractor entry right there. Again, making this extremely easy for you guys in the field. For equipment, let's go ahead and pull over the pieces of equipment we've had on the site. We've got a truck and a van that we've used previously, the total number of hours. Again, I can go in and change the meter reading if I needed to on the truck. Now, today, if the meter reading says 1400, I can save that piece of equipment as well. Materials, again, materials that have arrived on site. If I went into here, maybe I have a ticket number that I want to put in there, the time that I received it, who it was received by, maybe I received some lumber. Today we had 50, we'll just say kits. And, maybe some of the things were damaged. I'll just put damaged on there and save that entry. Okay, again, just those tabs that were arrived, activities. I showed you how to do that on the job site or on the website. But again, I can do the same thing here. Search down, maybe we're doing some asphalt paving. We're currently at 93%. We'll say that now we're at 95. My production units are 120. Any descriptions, any company or whatever. And then I can do my activities there. Okay. If I wanted to take a quicker look on what's at the job, this is some, I apologize, while I'm on this, and the reason I changed kind of directions here just for a second. Some companies want to give their field superintendents access to certain information on the job that's found in Sage. with a little quick look, this eyeball up here, the guy can come in here, click on the eyeball there, and get a feel for the job information, and you know, if I've got a certain amount, you know, here's my percent complete, here's my estimates, and again, this is not for everybody. Please don't feel like you have to use this, and some companies say absolutely not. I don't want to give that much detail to my guys in the field. But anyway, those things are available in hh². All right, so I just wanted to kind of pull that up while we were on the activities tab, because that seems to be the place where people need that. Well, events can be a number of things. Okay, you can do a start and an end time. So maybe earlier this morning we held a meeting or whatever, or we had an inspection, and we inspected. We had a contact that came in here, and this is what we inspected on the job site today. So you can see I can use the microphone instead of typing, and we'll go ahead and just put that information in there. So again, just listing different events. Might be an inspection, an injury, etc. Visitors that have arrived, again, I can list a visitor, who came and showed up. I can type in a name of someone if they're not in my contact list, who they visited with, any follow-up notes. It's not one that's widely used, but I show it that way anyway. Now, journal entries are a big one. Okay, journal entries are, I would say, what a typical report is made of. Is just of the daily events, what happened on the job site, what you got accomplished, and other details that may not have been in those other tabs. Well, as you can see here, we have different types of journal entries that we can have. Maybe today, halfway through the day, we had a snowstorm, so I could specify that. Due to the snow that we received later on this afternoon, we had to stop work on the job site and head for cover. Okay, so I can put that information in there, and I've got another question here. So let me look at that question. Okay, there is actually two. Does the Visitors tab pull from the address book? Yes, it does. So you can pull in your contacts from your address book. And when adding visitors, does it add those names back to Sage 300 address book? No, it does not add those people back to the address book. It just lists them on this report. That might be some functionality that we can look at down the road in adding to the software. But for right now, it's just simply data that's in hh². Okay, let's go to the Meetings tab. Again, this one is definitely unique to hh². There's nowhere for it to go in Sage at all. But a lot of people like this if they're holding a meeting. So if I went into here and said, I'm holding a safety meeting today, and my topic was fall protection, I can list the topic information. I can list a summary or the topic detail that was in there. I can specify a time. Maybe we held that meeting that after the inspection, we were told that we probably ought to hold a safety meeting there. So we'll do the meeting at 9 o'clock. I'll just put the name of the meeting there. We'll just put test. Now on my attendees, what you see down here at the bottom are I can add a contact, I can add an employee from my contact list, I can do a manual entry or copy from another meeting. So if I were to just add an employee, maybe you had 4 employees that were on my site, so I'll just tap on all 4 of those and say that they attended. So now I've got those employees. If I wanted to do a manual entry and say that John Smith joined my my meeting attendee today, I can even add a manual entry, okay? And it's just kind of specifying there. Now, the nice thing about this is you can see that it also added a text box, okay? So I'll just tap on the text box. Amanda came in here today, and I'm just going to do Amanda's signature, and Jake pulls up, and I said, Jake, I need you to sign the fact that you were here today. We'll do Jake's name, etc. So you can see that I can sign off directly from the iPad on who attended that meeting, okay? And I'm just going to hit finish, and then I'm going to save that. Okay, I didn't put any notes in there, but typically you would write notes. and different things that you might want to cover. So now in the office, I've got record and detail of who attended the meeting, time that was held, etc. All right, the other things that you'll want to do is do attachments. It couldn't be easier with hh², honestly, with the app on the iPad. Because typically, even if you're doing this on the web from the field and you have a laptop, you still have to take a photo. You have to download it to the laptop. Then you have to import the photo, etc. Well, again, it can be easier with the iPad. We'll just plus button up in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to take a photo. I'm going to take a photo of my credenza across the way here. I'm going to use that photo, put a quick title in it. We'll just put test in there as well, and save that. So how fast is that to be able to be walking around the job site, taking a photo and uploading it? Well, one other way might be just to snap a bunch of photos, while I am walking around with my iPad, and then instead of importing one at a time, I'm going to want to do a batch import. So I'm going to say, look at all my photos in here, and let's just pull up, some photos that I've taken here of, my dog and some beaches, etc. And we'll just go ahead and hit done, and we'll just type new in here. So we can upload a batch of photos at the same time directly from the iPad. So if I was walking around during the day and just snapping them, and then we got back to the job trailer and decided to upload them to hh², they're there. Okay? So very, very nice and easy to do, and able to upload those. Now, we also have some companies that want to do, the ability to do one other thing, and that is to add certain documents from another app. And I won't do it today just for the sake of time, but you can email someone a document, and they can even, we'll bag that today. I could actually add a PDF or whatever I want to, Word document, Excel document into this, and it would save it as an attachment. I'm just doing photos today just to be timely. Now, as I showed you before on the website, we have the ability to, do those custom tabs. So if all you had in hh² was just a bunch of custom tabs, you said, man, I don't like any of the other tabs, I just want custom tabs for our company, this is what you would have available. So again, I could come in here and put a list down here of different things, and filling out the different fields here that are available. Okay, so I can do my starting times and different things. And yes, I took the lunch and the job completed. The equipment was on here, and the task that was performed. So I can list those things, and any comments, and just quickly fill out the form here for your company, and just hit save. So all of this that was just brought in from that custom tab is right here on my iPad. Again, there was another tab that was just unique. It was a crane safety tab, where I had created a tab to be able to select different things on crane safety. Now, last but not least, I've got this all on my iPad, right? Well, let me show you, because I've been connected, let me go to our website real quick and just do a refresh of the screen. So I'm just going to refresh my screen. I'm back in the office, and I want to see a copy of that report that was just done on the iPad. I come in here to my unfinalized report. There's my weather. There's my subcontractors. Again, it's automatically syncing. You didn't see me hit a sync button anywhere on the iPad. So I can be viewing that report while I'm in the office there. Now, the other thing that's nice also about the iPad, we have that same functionality, but it's even faster to be able to print out a PDF. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, you see a PDF icon. It will say what type of a layout style. Do you want to do a compact, column, large, etc.? Do you want, what do you want your image resolution to be? I apologize, I've got another demo that I'm going to be doing here in another 15 minutes, so I got to be timely. All right, so here's my information. Here's my date range. Let's go ahead and create that. As you can see here, it has all my entries here, who did what, when, my labor entries, all of those. Let's scroll down here a bit. It shows my meetings. There's my signatures of the people who attended that. There's each of my attachments there that I attached. And there's my hazmat disposal form, okay, with the information on the hazmat disposal form. Well, directly from here, you can see down at the bottom, I can upload it, I can print it, and I can even send it via email. So if I click on the email, it brings up my email from my iPad, type in an email address, and I can send that off there. Okay, so a question that just came up. If the super enters labor on the labor tab, does this link to payroll, or does payroll sync to this? So our hh² remote payroll links with our field reports payroll. It doesn't sync with your payroll in Timberline, but it does sync with the hh² remote payroll product, not vice versa. So if you put labor hours in the field report, it doesn't push that to the labor hours in hh² remote payroll. Great question. That may be from one of our current clients that's taking a look at this. So anyway, that's how I can send that copy of that, how quickly I can send a copy of that over. I can also do some search functionality on the iPad directly as well. So if you called up a superintendent, said, hey, I need to, I don't have access to hh² right now. Can you do a quick search on a certain report? In there, I just clicked on the little magnifying glass in which I can select the job that I want to search on, the report type, the start date, or keyword, and then I can simply search right here from my iPad for any of those reports. So, if I just wanted to search on, anything that was done on the large high school, I can select that and specify a report type, etc. I won't necessarily go in and do that today. Let's go back. Whoops. Let's go back to our calendar. I apologize. Okay, so we've got a calendar there. If I want to finalize this report, and again, the finalization is what really pushes that report into project management. That's if you want it to go in there. I click on the report, and I'll come in here and just hit finalize. And this is where Grant would sign it. Okay, Grant goes in there and he signs the report. And now the report is signed, it's done, it's finalized here. Again, if I went back into hh², went to my calendar logs, you'll see, let's go ahead and refresh that. Make sure that now that report shows that it's a finalized report here in the office. Okay, again, that's the trigger to go. All right, so that's hh² field reports. You can go to hh² at any time. Well, while I'm going here to our website, if you have any questions, I've got about 7 minutes before Devin's going to kick me off of this meeting. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Our pricing is always found online at hh² for any of our products and services. Feel free to go here. It's www.hh2.com. We showed you field reports today, so let's look at field reports. Let's go into pricing. With hh², we've made it easier than ever for companies of any shape and size to not only sign up, but to stay as a customer with hh² based upon our monthly pricing. So to get into this product, it would simply cost you $99, $100 to get into hh². With that comes with training and implementation time, as well as support hours that you can use throughout the year as well. And as you can see at this level, it's 0 to 100 reports. Even though you may say, hey, Kevin, wait a minute. We do well over 100 reports in a given month, so shouldn't we be signing up at the 25 or 250 to 350 reports? And the answer is no. Every company starts out here. So that if you decide after a month or so that it's just not working for you, you can call up and cancel, and you're really not out much at all. Should you start using the product and you're using it for all of your jobs and you get everybody creating these daily logs and you have 300 reports that you created in a given month, then you would be billed the following month $186. One of the things I want to state very clearly, we do not charge by users in hh². We don't care how many employees either create reports, or how many people in the office are reviewing the reports, or printing them out to PDF. What I did today, I created 2 separate reports. All right, one was a general report and one was a superintendent report. Okay, so if I were to go and look at how many reports I've done so far, I can count these up. You don't need to worry about that as a client, because in hh², again, at the end of every month, we simply run a query on your database and bill you accordingly. All right, so with that being said, if you have any questions, or if you liked what you were able to see today, you can go to our webpage. There are some videos down here at the bottom, and I will tell you this, they will look a little bit outdated. Just about a week or so ago, we updated the skin on our website and added some new features and functionality to our Field Reports product and to some of our other products. We're constantly updating, refreshing, reviewing, and optimizing everyone's experience with hh². Okay, so just be aware. Okay, so we did have a question. Is creating a PDF considered a report? The answer is absolutely not. The only thing when I go in and create a report, as soon as I click on the plus button, that is creating a report for the day. That creates a log. Okay, but no, you can print them out as often, as much as you want. Again, today I created 1 report on the website and I created 1 report on the iPad, but that was a great question. Okay, so again, going back to the website, if you have any questions about any of our other products, feel free to go on here and take a look. Also, before I get kicked off here in a few minutes, there is a 5-question survey that we put on the end of this webinar. As you log off, we would certainly appreciate if you have any feedback for us. First of all, let us know how we did on the webinar, if it was beneficial to you. If you have any questions or want additional information from hh², please fill that out. It's very fast, and it also tells me if I've done a good job in presenting things that were clear for you today. So fill that out if you would. If you need to get in touch with me directly, I'm going to bring this information back up one more time. And here's my contact. And my name is Kevin Hadley, by sales with hh². Call us. We'd be happy to help you. If you're one of our current clients and have any questions at all, feel free to contact me. Or also, again, if you're a current client, just for everybody else's benefit as well, as you're logged into our system, down here at the bottom, you have a question mark. You can ask any questions at any time from hh². You can see we've got a couple of people in our support department that are available right now today, and you can send things via email. Do you want to be contacted for phone number, cell number? Do you have a screenshot you want to share with us? Anyway, so if you're a current client, go ahead and follow up with us that way as well. All right, so again, thank you very much. Devin, as part of the CSA, I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to present our solutions and our services. And if anyone doesn't have any extra questions, I am going to be quiet and be done for the day. But thank you again, everyone, for attending.
All right, thank you very much for presenting, Kevin. And this will conclude the class on hh² Field Reports. The next class in this track will also be presented by Kevin Hadley, and it's hh² Human Resources. And so that will start here in another 5 minutes. The webinar ID for that is 143-122-939. So if you'd like to join up with that, we'd sure love to have you. And thank you very much for your attendance. We sure appreciate it.